All right, so before you do the apply it, I'm going to go through this example with you, okay? So make sure whenever you're doing a problem, you're reading and annotating, which is what I'm about to do. So at noon, the temperature in St. Paul, Minnesota is 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's a positive. During the afternoon, the temperature changes by positive 4.3 degrees, all right? In the evening, the temperature changes by negative 9.3 degrees Fahrenheit. So what's the temperature at the end of the day? All right. So here they've worked it out for you. And I'm going to explain to you what they did because you might like this way and you might want to do your problems like this. So first thing they did was just write out the problem. We have 3.5 plus 4.3 plus a negative 9.3. That's the math problem we're solving. So the first thing they did was they broke apart the two decimal numbers. So you have a whole number and then a decimal number. Then they added those whole numbers. So they brought down the positive 4 and the negative 9, and they put the decimals together at the end. If you notice, these decimals are zero pairs. You have a positive 0.3 and a negative 0.3, so they cancel each other out. They are a zero pair. So now they added 4 and negative 9, which gives you negative 5. Then they pulled out the zero pair, right? If I have positive 3.5, a negative 3.5 will be my zero pair. And then you're left with overall negative, and it's negative 1.5. Okay? To me, that way is a little complicated. So I'm going to show you a different way. When you have a problem, the first thing you want to do is you want to add together all of your negatives and all of your positives. So here I have positives that I can add together. So I'm just going to do 3 5/10 plus 4 3/10, and that's going to give me overall, I have a positive 7 8/10, and I still have this negative 9 3/10, okay? So whenever you get to this part where you have one positive, and one negative, you should be asking yourself, is my answer going to be positive or negative, right? Which one do I have more of? We have more negatives. So our answer is definitely going to be negative. But how do I figure this out? When your signs are different, so meaning you have a positive and a negative, you're always going to subtract, okay? So you're going to subtract. Don't put any signs yet. So I know my 9.3 is negative, but I'm not putting any signs yet. I'm just going to do the subtraction problem. Okay, so I end up with 1.5. But should it be positive or negative? It should be negative because I had more negatives than positives, right? When I did this step right here, when I subtracted, I was pulling out the zero pairs. I just didn't write it like this because to me that's confusing. So I just did the regular math problem, and I know you always have to put the bigger, number, meaning bigger absolute value on top, and then you'll add your sign at the end. So what you're going to do now is you're going to do this apply it problem by yourself, and then you'll watch the next video to see if you did it correctly.